Hello viewers, welcome to Milo Youth Podcast. On today's episode, I'm with Ambassador Mohamed Janbari, who is a youth advocate, and we are here to discuss on the topic the importance of youth understanding and embracing trends in choosing the right career path. So, Mr. Ambassador, you're welcome to Milo Youth Podcast.
Once again, Mr. Meeting, for having me. I am Ambassador Mohamed Janbari, Global Youth President, West African Advocate Association, Executive Director of Media Advocacy Network, Sierra Leone. Actually, the West African Advocate Association is actually a national body that comprises of 16 countries in the West African sub-region. And of course, we are in partnership with Media Advocacy Network, Sierra Leone, one of the most consistent youth-led organizations inside in order for us to facilitate for young people to also have a 2-day career development training conference on journalism, law, medicine, banking, entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. The conference is a wake-up call in order for us to orientate young people when and how to choose the right career path. Because more often we realize that young people normally blame government because of lack of job employment. Sometimes we blame the private sector as well. But being that, we fail to realize that the responsibility in order for us to be employed after university lies in the hands of we the youth, because we sometimes make a very wrong decision at the starting in order for us to pursue our university journey. So this conference is actually serving as a wake-up call for us to orientate young people when and how to choose the right career path. And that is the reason why we endeavor to bring on board experts that have been in the field of law for quite a long time, in the field of medicine and all other key sectors that have been mentioned on. So they will be able to orientate our delegates, train them properly, so they will be able to choose the right career path for their future purpose.
Thank you very much. Advocacy has become part of your professional career. Are there any other things currently you're working on, or you're just there as an youth advocate?
Advocacy actually is one of my key areas, despite the fact that I'm also involved in several other activities. But for my major area at the moment is advocacy, because I'm not only advocating for Sierra Leone, but I'm currently leading 16 countries in West Africa as the Global Youth President. So I have often realized that my dream is something that I've always been responsible for, because if I would have blamed government to be responsible for my future, I wouldn't have reached this far. But because I have often realized that developing myself should be my priority, and I've been able to create that change. So at this moment, my major area of my career at this moment is an activist.
Okay. So, being an activist, are there challenges, especially youth activists?
The challenges are somehow tedious. They are tedious to the extent that we sometimes have a very difficult moment whenever it comes to staging an event like this. Sometimes reaching out to government institutions, because as young people, we might not be of chance to host such events on our own. We must have to reach out to institutions, we must have to reach out to individuals in order for us to get our support. Even at this point in time, we are finding it very devastating for us to have this conference on board. But with the grace of God Almighty, and also with the support of other youth-led organizations, we believe we'll be able to cope and we'll be able to forge ahead. We always just think that there must be challenges in whatever thing we do, but with the consistency and the effort, we'll be able to break that gap.
Thank you very much for taking us through some of those challenges. So how do you normally blend being an youth advocate and also your personal life? How do you go about it?
Well, my personal life, perhaps I don't have much out there in terms of social activities, but my consistency in advocacy is something that is more greater. For example, I decided to be here today to be a part of this interview because I realized I must have to contribute towards the development of our country, especially changing the narrative of young people in the area of advocacy. So my personal life and also advocacy is something that I say advocacy is more advantageous to me more than my personal life.
Thank you very much. So also, we're delving into our topic. Why is it important for youth to understand the current trend when choosing a career path?
Sierra Leone is a very small country, and of course we've been known for our contributions towards education for over decades. But along the line, we've lost that credibility simply because there are several challenges going through our educational system. And sometimes young people find it very difficult for them to sit down and make choices on their own. But some of them are having these challenges because they are not opportune to have the financial support in order for them to pursue their dreams. Some of them are having these challenges because they don't have guidance, they don't have mentors who actually train them, coach them for them to be able to choose the right career path. So choosing the right career path is actually a decision that should be made by an individual. You have to sit down, make a decision on your own. For instance, if you want to become a lawyer, there are things you must have to look into. Why should I do this, or what is the main reason for me to become a lawyer? Becoming a lawyer, what is going to be the impact to society? What is going to be the impact to my country and the world as a whole? Or what is actually going to be the impact to my very self as an individual? So you must have to sit down, you must have to look into guidance, people that are serving as lawyers for over a decade. You must have to reach out to them, ask them for guidance, ask them for projections before ever you forge ahead. Despite the fact you have the ideas, you have the finance, but you need someone who will guide you through in order for you to have it on board.
Okay, so in making such an important decision, do you think parents or guardians sometimes, or even the government have a role to play, especially in the upbringing of these kids? You know, some of these career paths are choice we as individuals make, but we need guidance in making those choices. For example, if I am a banker and I have a kid, and normally after school, these kids get to visit me at my office. They see what I do for a living. Do you think by seeing what their father is doing, they will be able to fall in love with the profession and say, oh, Dad, I want to be like you when growing up? Do you think that play a role in the life of these children or in the life of youth when making choice? Because we see in developed countries like China, United States, children start falling in love with their career path at a very tender age. But when it comes to Sierra Leone or Africa, we get to choose our career paths as a teenager or maybe as a youth, a grown-up youth. By then it's already late for you to start learning a skill, falling in love with this skill, and get to wake up every morning doing them. Do you think governments, parents, guardians have a role to play, including school or institutions?
That is a very good question, and it is one way of which I believe young people, or perhaps a child or children, might be able to cope with what their father or mother is doing. But as for Sierra Leone, our developmental trend has always been one-sided, of which government always focus on the tertiary institutions. But career purposes are not only based on becoming a lawyer, becoming a banker, becoming an engineer, but we as parents must have to encourage the child at the very humble beginning. For instance, if you as a parent realize being a carpenter or being a construction engineer is something vital at the global stage or at the market world today, you must have to see how best you can encourage the child. If you have the opportunity to sit with the child, communicate with the child, then the child will be able to make decisions. It doesn't depend, or it doesn't base on you becoming a banker, meaning your child should also become a banker, or perhaps if the child visits you at a workplace, your child making that decision, become my dad is a banker, the way I see my dad is working, I want to become a banker or a doctor, or I want to become a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. No. You must have to sit down with the child. If you ask the child at the early stage, I want to become a lawyer in the future, Dad, perhaps as the child keeps on growing up, he or she might end up to change. Sometimes the narrative might change based on the kind of people we actually associate ourselves with. At first, it happens to me. I always wanted to become a lawyer. But when I realized that my journey in advocacy and my journey into journalism is something that I always have passion for, I later changed up my narrative along the way. You might want to become a lawyer at the beginning in Sierra Leone, but the WAS exams might sometimes change the dreams, or maybe you might not have the financial support in order for you to push forward to start up your career as a lawyer. So this conference is actually serving as the wake-up call, like I stated earlier, for those who had always wanted to become lawyer, who had always wanted to become journalist, medical doctor, but they were not opportune to start it with their first degrees. They later diverted with another courses. Now we'll be there to orientate them. Now take this step if you want to become this, take this step if you want to become that. Do not change your dream because of financial support. Do not change your dream because of friends actually influence you. Do not change your dream because of parental backbone or any other stuff. So we are trying to see how best we can orientate them trying to encourage them, trying to put them on their toes to see how best they can follow with their dreams, and at the end of the day they will be able to achieve it. So there are several ways a child might be able to choose his or her career. You can discuss with that person, discuss with the child, ask the child who actually do you want to become in the future. If the child wants to become a lawyer, the child wants to become a construction engineer and entrepreneur, then you start coaching that child at the humble beginning. So as time progresses, it will be very easier for the child to make his or her decisions at a very high stage.
Okay. So also, as a child or as a youth, you might not know the relevance of a career path you want to choose. Do you think as a child we fully understand the relevance of such career path that we might love to choose?
And challenges is something very difficult, and that is the reason why we actually decided to see how best we can bring not only students, but we are also going to bring parents on board to see how best we can deliberate on some of these issues during the 2 days career development training conference. Because sometimes we all have always wanted our child or children to become office workers, some to become doctors, some to become bankers. So you will sometimes find it very difficult for us to say, I want to become a carpenter. Our parents look at it like it's somehow funny, or I want to become a construction engineer. But if you look at the market world today, or if you look at the way the world is moving, the being a carpenter is something needed at the market, and being a construction engineer is something needed at the market as well. So if the child had wanted to become a carpenter, I think the parent needs to ensure the child should be supported, need the full support, need the full encouragement to ensure he or she achieve the goal he always wanted.
Okay, thank you very much. You mentioned two relevant career paths also, which is being a carpenter or engineer. What do you think, what's the role of digital literacy in choosing career path?
Well, the role of digital literacy in choosing the right career path, I think that is all about the mindset and also see how best we can have proper orientations in doing this. Because I realize there is a platform through the government of Sierra Leone, but it's not actually actively operating, of which we sometimes endeavor to encourage young people to move into the digital world. And that is why the conference also has a committee. We have a committee. We made mention of a committee which happens to be the Technology and Innovation Committee, where we're having experts, we're having a German expert and also a Japanese expert who will be there to also orientate young people in the area of technology and innovation. Because if you look at the world today, technology is something key, and it's moving diverse ways of which we as young people must ensure we are able to move forward in that trend. Those that are working in the legal area, those that are working in the journalism sector, medical sector, they must need an IT specialist. So if we have an expert in these areas to orientate our delegate, we believe they'll be able to make decisions on their own. Even those that are finding it very difficult, those that are struggling in making decisions on their own, in as much as they make the responsibility to be a part of the 2 days career development training conference, we want to reassure them that our problems are going to be solved on that very day, because we have people that have been in those areas for over a decade. So for them to be trained, for them to be nurtured, for them to be mentored is not something difficult for us at all.
Okay, thank you very much. I love the explanation of the platform you're about to give to young people. And please, youths out there that are currently watching this program, we love you to make it a point of duty for you to attend. It's very important and relevant for young people to choose career path they are in love with, they have passion for. Because at a point, if you don't have love and passion for these career choices you're making, at a point you feel like it's boring. But if you are doing something you really love, you find peace in doing it. You always have the courage to pursue and make sure you do your best. Also, can following trends lead young people to lead them away from their true passion or strength?
They always must have to be consistent. For instance, if you have made the decision that I want to become a lawyer in the future, or I want to become an engineer or entrepreneur, you must have to ensure you are constant with it. No matter what it takes, just make sure you are constant with it. Whatever happens along the line, just realize that I must become a lawyer in the future. That should be your motive, and you must have to work on that trend. Even if you are not having a financial support, just ensure you are consistent with that, because consistency is something that is key before we consider determination. Before you could determine for anything, you must have to be consistent. If you are not consistent, no matter how determined you are, you'll not be able to achieve anything. You'll not be able to even make decisions on your own, because your very self, you are not consistent in whatever thing you are doing. So if you are consistent enough, you'll be able to walk in line with the determination.
Okay, thank you. Also, how can youth balance traditional career advice and that of emerging opportunities based on trends?
Well, I may say young people that are actually watching or actually listening to us, I just want to make this clear. Like, I make mention of consistency and I also make mention of determinations. There is no way we'll be able to balance the traditional career path, or either we seek as young people to make decisions on our own. We must have to ensure we seek out for mentorship, proposal. We must be the guidance towards our journey, because you cannot be able to make decisions on your own alone. So you must need someone that will guide you through. You must need someone that will drive you forward in order for you to achieve your goal. If you don't have that kind of person, you will find it very difficult in order for you to achieve it. So now the West African Advocate Association, together with the Media Advocacy Network Sierra Leone, will create an enabling environment for you, in as much as you take the responsibility to be part of the 2 days career development to the conference. We will create an avenue for you in order for you to understand when it comes to traditional career path or any other aspect of choosing the right career path in life. Because if you make the wrong decision at the humble beginning, you will find it very difficult for you to be consistent in the future. But if you are able to master in choosing the right career path at the humble beginning, you will definitely be able to overcome any other challenge you have ahead.
So you just mentioned how youth may tend to make mistakes in making their choices, the good and the bad, the wrong or the correct career path. What are some of the common mistakes youth make when choosing a career path based on trends?
One of those mistakes young people make is because they are being influenced by friends. For instance, when we are in school, after our West Africa Examination Council exams, we now aim to pursue our dreams in university. At first, I stated I want to become a journalist. So the outcome of the result will end that if truly you will be capable enough to pursue your dreams, or if you often heard your colleague or friend say, I want to become a lawyer. We have a lot of them in university. They choose their area of studies. Along the line, after 1-2 years in university, they later divert because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the patience, they don't have the time for them to be able to exercise that journey. It happens to me. When I was urged to pursue my dream in computer science, I was urged to do so, despite the fact that I have the support. But I realized I'm an art student. How enough would I be capable to pursue my dream in computer science? I'm not good in mathematics, I'm not good in chemistry, I'm not good in physics. So how would I be able to pursue my career in computer science? So instead of me to waste 1, 2, 3 years in university, then at the end of the day I divert myself again in another area, I will find it very difficult. So sometimes most of these challenges are made because of friendly influence, sometimes family pressure, or mom and dad are pressuring me to become a doctor. You must have to become a medical doctor no matter what it takes. So you must have to ensure, if I really have the knowledge, aside of the knowledge, what will be the impact towards society? What will be the benefit to me as an individual if I decide to choose this career path? So if truly you don't want to make that mistake, look out for a mentor, someone who may be a supportive mentor to you, not only in a financial way, but also give you knowledge and also give you strength in order for you to make the right decisions. Because if you made the wrong decision at the beginning, you find it very difficult to achieve it at the end of the day.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in the nutshell, it's as if most times parents do lead, the pressure from parents, peer pressure, do lead individuals to make wrong choices. So parents, we need to encourage and try to observe, patiently observe your children to see where their strength lies when choosing a career path. And now we see peer pressure do play a major role, because in all this social media, especially this new tech entrepreneurship, we see if this person the trend on social media, in particular look at and say, oh, myself I begin do video now, we post on TikTok, everybody want to become influencer, everybody want to be this that. You know, Sierra Leonean, we get that problem there for choose career path. Sometimes I don't know if now even out of jealousy, if this person they sell a particular good, you see say you yourself don't be sell your goods, but your goods they go fast, they sell fast and they make profit. they tend for forget what they do and begin go to market buy that same books the way you sell because of the sell it go fast and begin do them. And now you look at that say, oh, in the first place, what make I begin do this business? You understand? Or what make I choose this path? It change your mind now based on say you don't see another person, they do that business and they do well. That's not can turn out to be a good decision. I don't know. You think say in making decisions also people need for the look at some of them small mistakes that the other people they do. Oh, because you see say this person they sell mango they sell fast. Then you left that your market so you do a check, then you can't begin sell mango. And then 10 reach now, you know able to keep up. That can also play small negative roles and it can get impact on people and choice when they're making decisions. Which you get message to that?
Well, sometimes we also find it very difficult for us to be consistent in doing research. Because if someone else is doing another business, then you also want to involve in the same thing, you must have to see how best you can orientate your very self. Now, I'm an acheke seller. I want to move on to pure water. So, moving on to pure water, you have to compare the two trends. If the profit being generated out of the acheke and the profit you end up generating out of the pure water will comprehend together. So, that is the first step you should be looking out for. But in the cases of Sierra Leone, sometimes we do or make some of these decisions out of envy and out of jealousy. So if truly we are not mindful enough in doing research in the area of our businesses, we find it very difficult because we even have over 22 delegates who actually make mention of that, and they even ask us if there could be any possibility for us to have someone who might be a chance to actually orientate them in that area. Because we have 22 students that are currently studying nursing at Comas. They are also in this entrepreneurship store. Some of them are into cosmetic business, some of them are into several other businesses. So they are now trying to ask how they will be able to trend with the two areas. For instance, if they completed their course at Comas at the end of the day, now they want to forget about the nursing course, so they want to focus into this entrepreneurship. How really they will be able to cope with this system? So I'm actually glad for you asking such questions. So we believe our delegates will be there, and also our trainers and facilitators will be there to see how best they can comprehend some of these issues together in order for young people not to make this mistake. Because if they make the mistake at the beginning now, they will find it very difficult for them to change it in the long run.
Thank you very much. Milo's Youth Podcast is wholly and solely focusing on the youth. And earlier we made mention of mentorship. What role do you think mentorship plays when it comes to the lives of youths and making decisions?
Mentorship is a key factor in the life of an individual. Because without mentorship, I don't think you will be able to make any active decision on your own. You must need someone that will serve as a mentor in your life. Even presidents, heads of state are also having mentors. Because if you want to make decisions, if you want to move in whatever trend so far, you must need someone who will lead you through. Because for you to make decisions on your own, for instance, I want to become an automobile electronic. You must need a guy. You must need someone that has been in that field for quite a very long time. Or you want to become a computer engineer. You want to pursue your dream as a computer engineer. You are not only going to pursue your dream as a computer engineer, but you also need someone who will guide you through. An engineer that has been in the field of into someone that has served as a computer engineer for over a decade, or even someone that has served as a computer engineer for more than 5 years. So if you are having such people in your life, you will look at certain things that I will be able to move in this trend. I will be able to move in this direction, even if you don't have the finance in order for you to cope with that system. In as much as you have a mentor, you'll be able to make active decisions on your own without even thinking about what could be the cost at the end of the day. So mentorship in the life of an individual is something that is very key. It is very important and it is very key. In fact, it is a major factor in making the right choice or choosing the right career path. Because if you don't have a mentor who will lead you through, you find it very difficult for you to make active decisions on your own.
No, Ambassador Barry, it's really a pleasure having you on this program because the points you're giving out there are very, very important. They are key to youths making right choices when it comes to career path. What's the role of networking? These days, youths don't take networking to be something too serious. They are very nonchalant when it comes to networking, the way you relate to people, the way you talk to people, the way you seek out for opportunities. These are things people take very casual, but they are very key when making decisions and in terms of career path. What can you say about it?
You are right about that, and I may say networking is one of the key factors as well when it comes to seeking for job employment. Because for Sierra Leone level, we find it very difficult for quite a very long time now. That is the reason why sometimes when we blame government or we blame the private sector, I usually cast the blame on we as an individual. Networking is something that is very, very, very important. Even when I'm actually chatting on people on my WhatsApp, I always advise them to be vibrant and accurate with their social media. Because using your social media the right way to meet with you and also have the honor to be hosted on such platform. So if we actually take our networking skills very serious, we'll be able to move into diverse ways. There are people who find it very difficult for them to actually channel themselves with the right people because they are not actually facilitating for them to connect with the right people. So we sometimes say your network is your network, or your net worth is your network. So networking is something that is very key. And the conference we'll be having as a whole, we have already created our environment for our delegates to have the opportunity to communicate with people they have never met before. We'll be having 25-minute networking opportunity with people from different walks of life. So perhaps that very day, someone might be honored to have a very good job. That day, someone might be honored to have a very good relationship. So in as much as you crave in that indulgence for you to connect with people, you'll be able to create an easy channel. So networking is something very key and something very important in the life of an individual.
Thank you very much. The reason behind this very important question is that we see people who spend 4 years, 7 years, 8 years at university. And after all these years, you becoming a graduate, we always have it in our minds. The mind of a Sierra Leonean is that, after 7 years at college, I can government for give me work. But truly, if you have a good networking with your colleagues, there are people there in the university who are already workers. Some are self-employed. But you cannot know some of these things because why? You don't network yourself with them, you don't relate with them. And if your networking is poor as an individual, you'll be less informed. So sometimes when we come back after university or whatsoever learning platform, the way you relate with others will be able to promote your business. Okay? Like myself, being a podcaster, most of the time going around events, I use that as an opportunity. The first time I met with the Minister of Youth, it was an event I went to. But at the moment I noticed that, the Minister of Youth is among these people in this particular program, I prepared my mind that, no sooner as I have a space or an opportunity to talk to this particular person, I'll be able to lay my foundation, to liaise with him and make sure we have this diktat. You understand? So sometimes we need to make use of such opportunities. Such opportunity doesn't come twice. The mere fact you are there, you should be able to liaise up with some of these people. So how do also being informed help youth to make better career path decisions?
The networking area you make mention of is something that is very key, of which, like you stated earlier, there are certain students in university, they are there now and they are currently working. You might be in your third year, you might be in your fourth or final year, then you can still be able to have the opportunity to be employed at any government institution or private institution so far. But one of the key challenges we're having in this area is because we find it very difficult to connect with people. There are certain people, when they have the honor in meeting dignitaries in gatherings, they sometimes find it very difficult. Some of them, Sierra Leone level, we can always say, for just go snap with somebody, at the end of the day, there's no impact when you even forget from that person. But that isn't the case actually. So if you are having this mindset that I go this conference, and when I go this conference, I make sure say I connect with so person. It happens to me last year December when I was in Senegal at the Global Youth Conference. I was honored to meet with the current honorable speaker from Anambra State in Nigeria. So immediately after his presentations, I was actually honored to meet with him officially because I asked the event host for me to introduce the honorable speaker from Anambra State as Sierra Leonean. representing Sierra Leone at the the West African sub-region precisely. So immediately after the introduction, so he actually asked me my nationality. I presented myself to him and I introduced myself to him, and I was asked directly for us to exchange contact. So he actually gave me his contact and we started communicating. Even when I traveled to Liberia during the regional youth general summit, we met again, we discussed, we deliberated on critical issues. So last year, when he was on the verge to actually sponsor over 75 young people within West Africa for them to pursue their leadership journey into the Pan-Africa Leadership Institute, I was opportune to be called on board. So these are some of the ways. If we are finding it very difficult in order for us to connect with people, then we are just hindering our value at the end of the day. But if we compress or force ourselves to connect with people, we'll be able to create an enabling environment, not only for us as an individual, but for our country and also at the global stage as well.
Thank you very much. So, wrapping up this episode, what advice would you give to young people out there, ensuring that they make a better career path decisions?
I just want to make this clear that we must have to be responsible enough for us to take our actions very serious. I usually say the future of Sierra Leone is in the hands of the youth. We all should bring our modest contributions to its development. We shouldn't actually blame government for everything. We are also the government. So whatever it takes, whatever it may entail, it has to be our responsibility. Sometimes we should ask ourselves, what have I done for Sierra Leone as a youth? What have I done for Sierra Leone as citizen? Rather than asking ourselves what Sierra Leone have actually done for us. If Sierra Leone not able to do nothing for we, let we stand up now for do something for Sierra Leone, just like how others are doing. So if we continue doing so, we'll be able to create that dynamics, we'll be able to create the difference, and we'll be able to support government initiative, irrespective of our regions, irrespective of our tribes, irrespective of our political parties. Let us all unite as young people. Let us all unite as citizens of our beloved country. Let us all stand up together to ensure there is change indeed. Without the support of the youth, there is no way Sierra Leone will move forward. But if the youth are all together, we'll be able to make a greater impact today and tomorrow.
Definitely. It's about time. It's about time. It's also important for youths and even educationists to start. The challenges we have in Sierra Leone is that the educated elites fails to make an impact in a way that what they have learned only becomes a source of livelihood instead of becoming a way of life. We should strive as hard as possible to make the education that we have acquired become a way of life, for it to have a meaning to society, for it to have impact on individuals, on communities, on the nation as a whole, instead of it being just a source of livelihood, I would say. Because normally these days, if you look at everything really going on Sierra Leone, now from that perspective, a doctor go work in the morning, he see somebody they die, they left am. Waiting he focus on, and for go na corner to hospital because of na they believe say they get in salary. He forget say the profession, being a doctor, forget an impact. You go work now, you meet somebody, they struggle with their life. Help and they force. Policeman, you go work na money, you see somebody they threaten for kill another person. What is your responsibility as a police? Now for protect life and property. You don't go come in between them people and then try for sort of but you worry for go come across police na money for go work. Because you think say na they get you and to not. Until we stop them ways them they for live with life and try for change the perspective, the narrative. We'll draw the curtains for today's episode, and I have been your host, Milton Komamode. Until next time, ciao.
Hey, Milo Youth Podcast is in town. Hey, bringing hope and spreading cheer. Hey, for the youth of Sierra Leone, we're here. Hey, Milo's Youth Podcast, come and see. Empowering dreams, setting minds free. Together we grow, together we thrive. With Milo's Youth.